All right, hi everybody. Everybody doing good?
Yeah.
Good to see you. Well, a little post spring wrap up, and we had a good spring, and just really liked the work that we had, and got better. I think it's a generic blanket statement. We did get better in a lot of facets, and really liked the way our guys worked, and excited to move on to the next phase of summer, and it'll be here before we know it.
Barry, you talked about the wide receiver battle you had going on here. What did you learn about that group and the personnel you added to that group?
Yeah, I've been really pleased with the I would say the depth there. Just we had a different guy would make a play each day, and I think we've got probably our deepest core that we've had since I've been here, from A to Z, and probably we're going to feel really good about it before we added some guys, and the guys we've added all flashed, and in their own right. I mean, every one of them, all three of those guys that came in, all had their days and moments, and also had their days and moments where it was some growing pains of the system, or just an install or whatever that the older guys had already kind of gone through. So it was interesting to watch that on a daily basis, and but at the end of the day, I really like that group, and I think you'll see more guys impact the game there than some of the previous seasons.
What's been Alex Captain evolution since you first got him? You could be a contributor.
Yeah, well, I mean, it came in late. I guess this was 2 summers ago. Like, we had him come to camp and offer him at camp, and it was kind of a late ad. I guess that had been going into the fall of 23. Am I saying that right? That's right. Yeah, the fall of 23 was a late ad, and really just kind of got his feet wet, and we were pleased that we got him at that point in time during camp and in that redshirting that year. And then last year, contributed more probably in the rep count than he did in the stat sheet. But even within that, made a couple of really critical plays for us. And this year, I see a guy that is has matured, understands the offense in a strong way. He's had some really good work with Tank and his staff, and is playing his best football, is what you would hope for a guy to be in year 3 of your program, going on his last year, to be playing his best ball. And I think that's what he's doing right now.
What's the value of maybe getting reps even if you're not the guy that gets the target?
Yeah, sure. Being in the game, running the route, going against the DB, being in a position to win, even if the ball wasn't primary to you, being in the road environments, and it's, game on the line. I believe I think he was on the field in the last play of the game against Rutgers. I believe that it was him and Colin and Pat, to be in a moment like that, even though he wasn't primary, to line up, and here comes the blitz, and they didn't jump and flinch and execute the play. Those moments are like super, super beneficial long term for a player to have been on the road and in hostile environments and hostile situations and critical moments, and he's done that, and it should benefit him. And anybody else that's done that.
Barry, you've addressed offensive line in the portal this spring. Like, what do you hope that adds to the competition, to the depth, all of that?
Yeah, just it's what it would face value would be, is depth, and competition. And listen, it takes a village at all positions, and that one as well. It's we've got to have, we travel, up, depending on the week, maybe anywhere between 9 and 11, 12 guys maybe at times. I don't know the exact number. Coach has got a philosophy on that he's adhered to for years, and so it takes a lot of guys, and those guys got to help us on field goal, and there's other guys that help us on special teams, but just at all positions, you got to have centers ready, you got to have 3 centers ready, you got to have 4 tackles ready, you got to have 4 guards ready, and that's really, we're just always chasing that to who we can get the most game ready to where they can step in at a moment's notice.
Very good. Last month of this past season, 2024, it seemed like the running game obviously upticked. Have you seen anything, or did you see anything this spring that allowed you guys to translate what worked in November of 2024 to the spring to hopefully 2025?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that obviously, it's a unique challenge going against your own guys, and so the fronts and the structures kind of that you see kind of dictate a little bit about kind of what you're doing and how you're doing it, and so, but I think the confidence that our guys gained down the stretch, and not just gained, earned. They earned that through the way that we played up front and we ran the ball. basically, and in the the bowl game with a phenomenal job by our line and tight ends of covering people up and creating a huge gap in the defense. To create basically a game-sealing win. I mean, that should drive their confidence to the roof against a really quality defense. And so I've seen that confidence carry over. The unity that those guys are playing with, I think we're playing really well up front. And I think we got backs that are capable of making guys miss and are complete.
With Josh McCray's departure, what's that mean for your running back room?
I mean, obviously it means, I think we saw guys that we have 3 guys on our roster right now that ended spring with us that all impacted games last year in a great way, in a strong way in their own right. And just as Josh did for us as well, so you had 4 and now we have 3. And, we've got other guys, young guys. Aaron Ball was really flash for us in the spring. So we feel good about that room and feel good about the guys that their experience level for those 3 in particular. Like they've all had their moments and got their feet wet, and I think they're all primed to have the best year of their career.
You see members of your staff returning, grow from the new guys coming in, maybe guys who were the new guys and now they're showing other people how it's done around here.
Yeah, that's kind of the natural order of it. Like even though, like for instance, we added Mike New on our side, of the ball, and there's been other guys, that I'm just using him as one example. Like his experiences has made us better and made me better and has helped us in the room across the board. And I would say that, there's things that we've done here that he's absorbed that's made him better as well. So that's how this business works is that, iron sharpens iron. And even though got a lot of returning faces, we're always in pursuit and chasing new schemes, new ways of doing things, rebranding things, and that makes you better. And that's what we're trying to chase in the off season. But yeah, like coach does a phenomenal job, of bringing, of hiring people and the people that are like-minded. That doesn't mean that they have the same experience as us. They come from different backgrounds and different experiences, and it creates a melting pot of knowledge and experiences that makes for a healthy organization.
Luke Altmaier's announced basically twice that he's coming back. And what's that mean to have a quarterback for a 3rd year? And was there a sense of purpose in targeting him to bring him back, and a little bit of relief to get through portal season and to know that he's going to be your quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, like when we first set out over 2 years ago to go look into the portal, we just wanted to find the best available guy that could help us win, right? And it just so happened that Luke had 3 years of eligibility. That wasn't something that we set out and said, hey, we want to go get a guy that has 3 years of eligibility. We want to get a guy. We just want to get the best available guy. And if it was going to be a 1-year player, it was going to be a 1-year player. And quickly our focus shifted toward him, and obviously it couldn't have worked out a whole lot better for us, and I think he would say the same thing, that it's worked out for both parties in a strong way. And, what he's brought to our organization, I see a guy that's an extremely strong leader right now, very confident in what he's doing, and we're excited to have him for year 3. I think our team's excited about that, and our people that support us closely are excited as well. And so, anytime you get a guy that's coming back on a 10-win team that started all those games for you and had a big hand in the outcome, and I say a big hand, obviously our whole team did. The way we played complementary together, kicking game, defense, offense, it's about all of us. But to have a guy that's been in the saddle, that's won some games in the 4th quarter, and it's starting on whatever number a start this would be. I don't know the number there. Y'all would know that. Probably in the high teens or something like that, see 12, 13, 20 or so, 21, something like that. So 20 starts or so. To have a guy that started that many games, that means a lot to us. And we're really excited as we move forward going into year 3 with Luke.
Is it mostly the intangible things you're seeing growth-wise from him? You mentioned leadership, confidence, comfort. Is that
the things
you've seen him stack?
Yeah, I would say so. That, I mean, listen, he's gifted. There's a reason he's been able to elevate us, is because he can make a lot of throws and he can run, and he's just as gifted intellectually as he is physically. And and he's got a lot of grit. So he's got a lot going for him, you know. And those would be all things that you would use as adjectives to describe a winning quarterback, and that's what we have. But yeah, just the step and the growth and the comfort he has in our offense and our team, and understanding what we're trying to get done is just through the roof right now, and our team recognizes that.
In particular, how's he handling even more elevated expectations? I mean, there's even rankings out there for whatever they're worth. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league, maybe a Heisman candidate, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So that's new for him, right?
Yeah, I think he takes that with a grain of salt, like anybody, you know, like he should. You know, he understands that, you know, where were those rankings this time last year? You know, and he's the same player. He's, you know, obviously produced in some moments over the last course of this year that he didn't the previous year, but that goes for all of us, you know. And so I think he's taken that all in stride, and all he wants is to play his best, to help our team do the best they can, so we can achieve what we all want to achieve here inside this building. And he knows if that happens, then the things that should come to him will come to him in regards to recognition. And he's not caught up in that at all. I see a guy that's very driven on trying to focus on being the best that he can be, because he knows if he plays his best and our team plays his best, then good things are going to happen to all of us.
Given the status on the team and given the time of year, was there any emphasis for him to kind of either take other quarterbacks like Carson Boyd or anyone else under his wing? Or is there any emphasis on that throughout the spring?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that's an emphasis. I think it's a byproduct of the room and the hierarchy of the room. You know, I think everybody recognized that Luke's the starting quarterback. So when we brought Ethan into the mix, Ethan certainly understood that and understood what, understood that from a distance. And Ethan's done a phenomenal job for us. And Carson and Trey, and all the relationships are really strong, and they all look to Luke in a lot of ways. And to be honest with you, the relationship that I have with Luke, and that has grown in regards to, here's a returning quarterback who has earned the right to be the leader of our team, and our leader of our offense is like we have grown in that relationship in regards to having more input and more say so about what we're doing, how we're doing it, what you like, what you don't. He's always had that, that's my job to make sure we're calling and structuring things that Luke feels good about. But it's been really cool to see, hey, I want one of these called today, coach. Can you call one of these for me? Let's get one of these. Let's get the ball down the field here. He's got a lot of insight and input about what he feels and what he needs. And I think our other young guys see that from him, because I'll do that in front of the room, and they'll see that. And I think that's really enhanced our leadership from A to Z in the room.
Spring might be your best chance.
We'll finish with this one here.
Spring might be your best chance to see some of these young quarterbacks in your offense. So what did you see from Carson, Trey, specifically both those guys that stood out during their
season? I think we reinforced what we had seen from Trey earlier on since he's been here, is when it's 11 on 11, that's when he's at his best. He likes to compete, and that continued to show up even in the last part of practice. And for Carson, to your point, it's our first spring with him, and first time with him other than just being around him at camp and recruiting him. And obviously, I think the true tell of recruiting is not signing date. It's not the stars. It's not the whatever. It's okay, when you get them and after you're with them, would you as you look there, would you say, would I go get this guy over again? And with Carson, it was unequivocally yes. And just we're thrilled to have gotten him and to sign him as our quarterback. And I see a guy that's really talented, that has got really good instincts, that learned the offense and made a lot of plays this spring without really having full comprehension of the offense from A to Z, and which you would not expect an incoming freshman to have a full mastery of the offense at this point in time. So I saw him making plays instinctively, even despite not having that completely down. And so that's always a good mark, for that to happen. And I saw that happen a lot. Now, he made some mistakes, but really pleased with Carson and the progress he's made. Very talented young player. I think he's got a really bright future.
Thanks, guys. We'll move on.